What is going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Sunday, July 30th, 2023, and we are here for the recap of the Black Massacre series. 30 weeks, 30 videos covering 30 atrocities that fell before many of many Black Americans here in the US. I can't believe that it's literally all come to an end. I can't believe that Wednesday was the last day, and now we are recapping as much as we possibly can when it comes to this series. Before I get started, if you are new to the channel, welcome. First of all, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. And let me see, who do we have in the room so far? The Hula Gang, Iron Will, Light Visions, 25 Kid, J Cage, Jared, Lana L, Denise Scales, Kendall, Nightfall Drop, Joseph Washington, Prentice Holloway, Janesta, Stay Positive, YGLTB1, Blacklight Revelations, Tidra, AW1, and many more will be coming on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a very interesting stream. It's a bittersweet one because it's the closing of another series that I'm doing on my channel. As y'all know, one of the first major series that I did was the Sundown series. Unfortunately, I don't think I did a recap stream of that series. But I made sure not to forget to do one for this one. And should I do any more series going forward, I'm gonna do the same thing. But yep, I can't believe that this all started back in the first week of January of this year and ended last week. It's kind of crazy how things just kind of play itself out when it comes to these type of series. But like I said, it's just something I felt compelled that I had to do, something that I wanted to do, and something I feel like everybody needed to learn. And it was always a great thing of seeing people's responses to certain videos that I was doing or certain ones that I was talking about. I would always typically ask, have you ever heard of this situation, or have you heard of this massacre and this massacre? Of course, you know, the usual ones that people knew about was Black Wall Street and Rosewood, Move, of course the last two, you know, in Charleston, and of course the one in Buffalo. I knew those four people would know about, but the other ones probably not so much. And shout out to Denise Scales for kicking off the donations for the day, $20. She said, phenomenal job done, Torian. Thank you. I thank you for watching. But thank you for everybody who came through and everybody who watched those videos week after week after week. Some of the videos were short, as in maybe 15 minutes. The longest I did was 2 hours. Honestly, I forgot which one I did that was 2 hours. But again, y'all can always go and relive. Well, not so much relive, but go recap those videos. I have it in the Black Massacre series playlist. So you will always have access to those particular videos. So you can go and watch them at your own leisure at any given point in time. Donna said this was an amazing series. The first few made me teary-eyed. Yeah, and that's one thing I told people that was how I pretty much introduced the series. I told people that this series was most likely going to trigger you because it's a hard-hitting subject. And I said that if this was properly taught the way that it should have been, it would have probably been no purpose for me to actually have to do this series. But this is that part of history that they want to keep buried. And of course they would, because their ancestors are the ones who were the perpetrators of it. But remember, in Florida, they're trying to say that Black people are some of the reason as to why we are in the particular position that we're in. We was the ones that committed some of these atrocities against ourselves. Let them tell it. What's going on, DSB? Donna said, I shared every last one of them. I appreciate that. And shout out to everybody who shared them. Like everybody who shared those particular videos. That's the best part. That's the part that y'all play in it. The part I play is giving y'all the information. The part you play, of course, is sharing the information with people. I've had so many people tell me that they had their family members watch it. They said they had their kids watch it. That lets me know that I'm doing the right thing, that I'm not just doing it just to do it. Because again, we all learn something here. I learned something new. Y'all learn something new, and y'all keep passing on the information. It's almost like a link in a chain. It keeps going and going and going. But with this recap, this is more so if y'all can talk to me as far as it pertains to this series, because like again, I spent the last 30 weeks doing all this research and giving y'all this information. So I really wanted to hear from y'all what y'all thought of the series, because really I hear from you in the comment section, but I want to vocally hear what y'all have to say. Like, y'all can tell me what series hit the hardest for you, what episode stuck out to you the most, and so on and so forth. But before I actually drop the link for me to do that, it was two things I wanted to cover as it pertains to this series that came out literally in the midst of me doing this series, and I purposely saved it for today. I could have easily touched on it in another live stream, or I could have touched on it in a separate video, but I said I'm gonna save this one when I do the recap. Now, many of you already know what I'm going to show you because you've already seen it, and it does deal with Tulsa. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right quick and let this video play, and we're going to go over it.
Tulsa Race Massacre. Tulsa Race Massacre. Tulsa Race Massacre.
I don't know why it's not. Oh, hold on, let me.
Tulsa Race Massacre.
Okay, I don't know why the hell it's not playing. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. I might have to retrieve it the other way. Give me a couple of minutes while I pull this up, because I don't know why it's not playing. Hold on. Okay, we'll try it this way.
Tulsa Race Massacre not fall under your definition of CRT.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't address that part. I would never tell a kid that because of your race, because of your color of your skin, or your gender, or anything like that, you are less of a person or are inherently racist. That doesn't mean you don't judge the actions of individuals. Oh, you can absolutely. Historically, you should. This was right. This was wrong. They did this for this reason. But to say it was inherent in that because of their skin is where I say that is critical race theory. You're saying that a race defines a person. I reject that. So I would say you be judgmental of the issue, of the action, of the content, of the character of the individual. Absolutely. But let's not tie it to the skin color and say that the skin color determines.
One more follow-up. How does the Tulsa Race Massacre not fall under your definition of CRT?
I answered it. That's my answer. And again, I feel
the
like
Tulsa Race Massacre was a race massacre. How does it not fall under CRT?
I've answered your question. I do appreciate it. Very respectful.
The 100 years of silence was about race. How does that not fall? How does that not qualify for CRT?
I appreciate your question. I'm going to give some other people some.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all seen this video. Put a 1 in the chat if you have seen this video. Put a 2 if this is your first time seeing this video. And this video has been out probably about almost a month now. I think it came out probably earlier this month. Okay, I'm seeing 1s, I'm seeing some 2s, so I'm seeing a little bit of a mixture. Okay. But yes, this was at a let me stop sharing right quick. This was at a state superintendent meeting where you had this man by the name of Ryan Walters. He's the superintendent of schools in the state of Oklahoma, who literally said out of his own mouth that Black Wall Street, the bombing and destruction of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was not a race massacre or had anything to do with race. Whenever you look up any type of publication about Tulsa, it literally says race in the title every time. It'll either say Tulsa Race Riot or Tulsa Race Massacre. You're going to see either one of the two, but the key word there is race. And he literally sat up there and said that it had nothing to do with race. Teacher said, didn't you call in the TBA when he talked about this? See, people like Teacher have a very good memory, because I forgot that I did call in the TBA and talked about this. I know I called into him before, but now that you bring it up, I remember calling into to TBA broadcast when he was talking about this. And yes, we had a brief little discussion, and shout out to TBA. But yeah, that's called revisionist history. They're trying to play it out as something else that it wasn't. Then my thing is this: if it wasn't a race massacre or a race riot, then what the hell was it? He won't. I bet you if you was to ask him that question, he would not be able to give you a grand explanation. And I think when people was going at him, and rightfully so, for basically telling that lie, he had to come back and give a retraction for what he said. But at that point, it was already too late, because you was already in your mind was already made up with that line of questioning that what happened in Tulsa had nothing to do with race. So whatever you came back with as a retraction meant absolutely nothing. Like I read, like that one that I did on Tulsa was like over an hour long, which I expected it to be, because there's a lot of history there. But to make matters even worse when it comes to that, you had the follow-up, literally a follow-up of something else that happened involving Tulsa a couple days after that, where you have this judge in Oklahoma that threw out a suit that was seeking reparations for the victims of Tulsa. Now, mind you, I think it's only 3 living, and they're all in their hundreds. And I think the oldest is 109, and I believe the youngest is 102. And you had this PC female judge that threw out the lawsuit where they were supposed to get reparations for what happened, but they completely tossed it away indefinitely, basically trying to say that you're not going to be able to come at this again, at least not from this angle. You're going to have to come at it from another angle in hopes that you can see what happens, which probably won't happen. And the crazy part about it is these 3 individuals have been fighting for years. They should be relaxing somewhere instead of having to, in their elder ages, dealing with this foolishness. Now, yesterday, I posted up a short where I was talking about HR 4321 from Congress that was put out there and introduced at the end of June, where it was talking about how when it comes to reparations, they were basically going to keep state funding from various states if they dare brought reparations for slavery to the table. How many of y'all saw that? I posted it last night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it got flooded with a bunch of bots because I hashtag reparations in the title. Thanks for the views. That, and by the way, that is a monetized short, so thank you. I said, what is the irony that this all comes up while I'm doing this series? I'll ask y'all another question. How many of y'all in the chat knew about HR 4321 before I posted that video last night? I'll put my 2 in right now because I didn't know. I saw it in a Discord, a Discord chat, and it wasn't my Discord. I did not know that thing existed until I saw it, excuse me, in the Discord chat, in someone else's Discord at that. And guess what? You know what's so crazy? What else was going on that week when they introduced it? Now, let me tell you, it got introduced June 23rd. So keep this in mind. What else was going on that week when that got introduced into Congress? I want to see I want to see if y'all know. Y'all should know it because it's been all in the news. It was actually two things going on that week. Senior 34. It never made it into a bill. It's just introduced. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just been introduced. It hasn't gone past the introduction stage. Natasha said that girl. Nope, not that. Spidey got the first one. Carly Russell was this month. This was end of last month. Spidey got the first one. Affirmative action. That was the first one, but it was something else going on that week too. I want to see if y'all know what the other one was. It was something else that was going on that week. That was all in the news. Nope, it wasn't the Academy. Nope, it wasn't the trans. The submersible. The implosion of the submersible that was going down to see the Titanic. That was also going on that week. Those were the two major stories going on that week when they introduced HR 4321 that I talked about in that short that week. Two major stories. Let me see something right here. All right, what I'm about to do is I'm about to post or pin the link in here. So if anybody would like to come up and discuss what they took away from this series over the last 30 weeks, y'all feel free to do so. I just wanted to bring up those two things. And shout out to Christopher Ellis for the $20 super chat. He said, much respect for your tireless work, brother. I definitely appreciate it. All right, so there's the link right there. And how I'm going to do it is I'm not going to do it like my Freestyle Friday. I'm not going to bring up a whole bunch of people at one time because I want to individually hear people at one time without conversations lapping over each other like we usually do on Freestyle Friday, because I want to hear everybody give their take about what they took away from this series or what stood out to them. But that's the link right there. If anybody would love to come up, you can feel free to do so. Buzzercam H1 says the Springfield Massacre was the longest one you did. Yep, that one was the longest. That one was a little over 2 hours long. That was a lot of reading. Like my eyes were starting to feel dry. I was getting parched. I had to pause a couple times to get me some sips of water because it was a lot of information to deliver in that particular massacre. It was a lot, but we got through it. He said, you remember me talking about? Yeah, I remember now. I remember I was talking to you and a couple of other people at the expo. We was having a very good conversation too. We was talking for the long. I think that conversation we was having probably lasted like damn near 30 minutes. Like, we lost track of the time because the conversation was so good. I guess nobody wants to hit the link today. It's kind of dry in the chat. Like nobody wants to like hit the link or nothing. I guess y'all have nothing to say. Remember, this is 30 weeks of commentaries right here. I know y'all have something to say. Like I said, I spoke about like all of this for the last 30 weeks. I already said everything I had to say. I know y'all have some thoughts. I had just put the link in the chat again, just in case some people might have bypassed the pin link at the top of the chat. Oh, so we got our first person up here. What's going on, Afro? What's going on, Afro?
How you doing, Tori?
I'm doing good.
I can't show my face. I'm driving right now, so I'm just.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. But I want to ask a couple questions, actually.
Okay.
Start the massacre series.
All right. Well, I can't hear you. Like it sounded like you was going in and out.
Oh, can hold on. Let me see what's going on. Give me one. Damn it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. My first question, before I have a question and a comment. The first thing is a question. What made you think to start the massacre series? Like, what was I know you probably had vague ideas about it, but what made you think like this is the moment where like I'm definitely gonna do this. I need to do this. I'm gonna start researching this. What was that?
I think with all the talks about reparations is what made me want to make this series, because I said this could be a good reparations claim, because a lot of stuff happened to our people post-slavery that doesn't get talked about. Some happened during, but a lot happened afterwards that could definitely contribute to it. And it's a good thing that I did, because like I showed in the beginning of the stream, how you had the state superintendent out there trying to claim that what happened in Tulsa had nothing to do with race. Then you had that judge that completely threw out the lawsuit for the reparations for the survivors of Tulsa out of the court altogether. So it's a good thing that I'm doing this. And also it's a historical and learning thing for our people, because a lot of our people, no matter what their age, don't know about this information. They have no idea a lot of this even exists or even happened.
Okay. Well, I think it's very important that you did that. I have another question before my comment. I'm not going to take up too much time because I know other people got stuff to say. But my other question, I hear you say, throughout this, I know you've been doing this for a long time, over half the year, really. And you say you've learned there was things that you knew before. I'm sure everybody knew about Tulsa. Everybody knew about Rosewood, but there were other cases that you didn't know about that you found out while you were researching this and putting this together. So what would you say is like the biggest story, biggest massacre or something like that you learned about, or something about a massacre that you didn't know that you learned? What would you say?
Probably the Springfield, Illinois one, because that was the longest one. That particular video lasted over 2 hours. Where a lot, like some of them was like maybe an hour or an hour and some change. That one was over 2 hours. So that one had the most information just based on length alone as far as time in the video length, I should say. Definitely that one.
Okay. Well, that was a really information-packed episode. That was really a very loaded episode, very information-packed. I know it must have been exhausting. People don't understand how exhausting it is to like read that much stuff in one sitting. That's exhausting.
Right.
Okay, but my comment after that is I do think that this series was very beneficial because it's all compiled together in one single place, is one single database, and it's all neatly organized as far as chronologically speaking. It's not like you just picked the biggest massacre and then you kind of just went down, or you went from the smallest to the biggest, or you just started randomly selecting everything. I can clearly tell you took your time because everything was in chronological order as far as going all the way back to the 1860s, and to pretty much the present, last year or a year ago. So that takes a lot of time to put that in order, but it's really beneficial too because we need people to know this information, and this information is not easily obtainable. Like if you're looking up stuff on different massacres, you'll find a bunch of stuff on Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, maybe the move bombing, but besides that, you don't really see too much information. And you'll see, like if you Google it, you'll see stuff like it happened, but you won't hear about the details about how many people died, what was burned down, what started it. A lot of the things that started it mainly was really white fragility. It was white people being jealous of black success, black businesses, so that's pretty good too, what started it, because we hear about massacres, but it's important for us to understand why that stuff started, what the damage was, what the repercussions was, which was really nothing. We're gonna be honest. Nothing really came. They weren't punished. That's what I mean. They weren't punished for it. Nothing was really done to a large degree in almost all of the massacres.
Exactly.
So man, kudos to you, brother. Much respect, man. I know it was a long time. It was some hard work. Plus, I definitely got to salute to you for doing that and then not dropping the other things that you were doing. It's not like, okay, I'm just gonna get this massacre series done, and then afterwards I'm gonna move on to our regularly scheduled program. You was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep the program the same, and I'm gonna add the massacre series on top of that too. So that's pretty important.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm driving. I'm almost at my destination, so I'm gonna have to let you go, man. I'm gonna be listening in the background.
Understandable. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for calling in.
No problem, brother.
All right. That was Afro Elite. Shout out to him for coming up and pretty much breaking the ice. For anyone who would like to come up and talk about this series, again, the link is in the chat. It's pinned at the top, and I'll periodically post it throughout the stream. I don't want to have the stream go on for too long. Just hear from some people who have some thoughts about the series as a whole, or even a particular part, or ask any questions like he did, give any comments and all of that good stuff. We got our next person up here. What's going on?
Hey, Torian.
What's up?
I was able to catch what I could of the Black Massacre series, and what I caught was mind-blowing. There were some massacres that I didn't even know about, but at the same time, it was like, yeah, what Afro Elite said earlier, all the massacres started out as jealousy towards Black success. I hope you continue this series as like an update, just in case. I'm not wishing the worst, but it's like, we're still in the system of white supremacy, and things will get worse before they get better. I mean, we're already making a push for reparations, but as you can see with what's happening in Florida and what DeSantis is doing, you know, anything could jump off at, like, you know, the drop of a hat. I mean, we'll be more than ready to defend ourselves, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it isn't that these massacres are going to stop happening because, you know, you had the recap of that. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
I would say, I see you have it saved on your playlist, but, you know, in case, like, you know, the unfortunate happens, I hope that you would do like an update under this banner. Because until those checks are cut, we're still going to be, you know, dealing with the brushes as they come.
I think that if anything like does like happen, like, you know, past the course of what happened last year, that'll just be its own like video, like its own story as it pertains to that. And I could, you know, maybe just throw it into the playlist, but it's going to be a story that kind of just sticks to its own or on its own end, for the simple fact that, you know, is because it's that story and it's that fresh. I think as far as the series goes, the series has pretty much come to a close, but anything that happens will just get like, it's just like an upload, like a regular upload, so to speak, if you get what I mean.
I understand that.
Yeah. Because I think as crucial as this a series is, I think that, and I hate to say it like this, I think my audience has been traumatized enough for 30 weeks. It's a lot. It's like I said, it's a very heavy topic to discuss. And again, this wasn't a series that I was just rushing to get right into. It's not like when I was done with the Sundown series, I already knew in my head that this is what I was going to do. Because honestly, this series did not come to mind until months after that particular series was done. It was probably towards the end of the year when I decided, you know what, I want to talk about this. It wasn't like, you know, like I knew, like a light bulb went off in my head and I was prepared to want to do this. It's something that kind of came up at the end of the year, because honestly, if it didn't pop up, this series most likely would have never gotten done. But I said, you know what, let me go ahead and do it. And I just like found all these different massacres. I didn't even know how many was there. I just like started jotting them down. I didn't even count them. It just happened that it turned out to be 30.
That is something. And I'm just throwing this out there because even though I'm late to following the new Black media, I started circa 2016. I remember you doing videos of, like, you know, Black heroes. Like, yes. I remember the story of, you know, this brother that was helping this lost child get back with their parents, or the four brothers that were saving these people from a burning complex. That could be a series, you know, on its own. I mean, I know.
I know what you're talking about, because I actually, that was at a time when it wasn't really, I wasn't doing a series of videos like weekly. That was just for Black History Month. And now that one, I intentionally did it that way because, you know, when it comes to Black History Month, first of all, it's condensed to 1 month. It's the smallest month, whether it's a regular year or a leap year. And it was from stories that don't really get talked about. And that was at a time when I wasn't doing series videos like I did with the Sundown series and with this one, where it was weekly. But yeah, I remember doing those videos. As a matter of fact, I don't even think I made a playlist behind those. And I think I want to say, what year was it when I did it? I think it might have been in 2018 when I probably did it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like, those videos are still active up on this channel and not the original channel, which of course is no longer active. Then those are kind of like, you would have to go way, way, way back to try to find those, and just look under the month of February, because that's the month that I condensed those particular videos into. But if I was doing a series of videos back then, it would have felt like how this one did, and it would have been a weekly thing instead of just something that I just conduced to 1 month.
Again, I'm not trying to, like, you know, put any ideas, you know, out there. It's just a suggestion. If something like that, you know, were to come back around.
Right. I have an idea just an idea of what I want to do next. But I told people that I wouldn't say what it is until probably the end of the year show. Like, you know how I always do my end of the year stream. That's probably when I would reveal when the next series would be. I think I've only told maybe one, maybe two people what I was planning on doing. And no, you will never know who I told because they're not going to say anything. But I do have an idea of what I possibly of the next series that I would want to do. And I'll just put it this way. It'll be a breath of fresh air. I'll just leave it like that.
Hey, say less.
Okay. Was that it? That's all you had?
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming up.
No problem.
All right.
All right.
All right. Shout out to Joseph Washington for coming on up and, you know, giving his spill about the series. And we're going to move right on to the next one. What's going on, Tamika? First time up on the channel. What's going on?
Yes. Hello. I just want to pop up real quick to tell you, thank you for talking about these topics. I can't say I've seen all of them. I'm going to try to catch up on as most as I can. I think I may have seen like 4 or 5 of them. I kind of found out about you through Mo.J, so shout out to him. And then I started, watching and checking in. But one in particular that you covered, which was, the Charleston massacre at the church. I actually had a cousin. I was, telling you in the comments that I had a cousin that was actually killed in there, and family members that go there on a regular basis. My grandmother was baptized there, was an usher there, married there, funeral there. So I can't say I went there on a regular basis. Usually I would go, when I'm visiting down for the summer, or last time I probably was in there was for her funeral, which was like 1996. But when that happened, it just was like, wow, that's somewhere I could have been. That's somewhere my family could be. I remember my aunt sending me messages on Facebook, like, that's the church where your grandmother go to. Your cousin was in there. And, it was very triggering for her. It's kind of triggering for me anytime I hear about these shootings. And I know some people say after a while you get numb because you hear about it so much. But every time I just feel myself get, anxious and stuff like that. I unfortunately have been in situations where I've seen people get shot in front of me where it could have been me. In 3 different situations I had like that. It wasn't a massacre, but, so I already kind of just have, feel crazy feelings when it comes to that in general. And then to know that you had somebody in there. I didn't have a close relationship with her, but my aunt is one that always is like heavy into the history. She's always telling me everybody. There's times when I'll go certain places and I seem to have a family member everywhere I go where she like, knock at this door, tell them you such and such daughter. So she's just always keeping me up to date with, the history. When I would go to South Carolina, it's like, okay, we going to the market, and market is where a lot of my family members sell baskets that they make, but in market is also where they bring the slaves in at, and, letting me know where my grandfather came from, my grandmother, all of that different type of stuff. So it just really hit close to home with that one. And I love the way you, just laid everything out. So I definitely want to check, the other ones that you've done. And although I don't do these types of videos like you, I'm normally sharing, like, Tulsa's not the only one. It's been a lot. And I'll share the map and, all of that kind of stuff on my social media. And it was crazy to me that when Lovecraft County, and I think it was Watchmen, came out, a lot of people found out about just that based off of those shows. They didn't even know about it before.
I was actually shocked that when it came to Watchmen, that the opening scene in the first episode was the massacre in Tulsa. I was looking at it, I was like, because I was like, at first I was looking like, okay, what are we watching? Because I wasn't expecting them to do that. And when I saw it was a bunch of black people there and they was inside of a movie theater, and then all of a sudden it was an explosion, I was like, whoa. And then when they went outside and all you saw was the planes flying over, I was like, wait a minute. I put 2 and 2 together and I was like, oh snap, they actually highlighted Tulsa in a mainstream show. Which we had up until this point, I don't think we've ever seen.
Right. So and I appreciated them showing it too.
Like when I saw that, I immediately knew. And you're right, a lot of people didn't know what Black Wall Street was until that point. So in that manner, I was glad that they did it. as sad as it was, because then it caused people to go and research, for those who wasn't aware of it, what that was about. And
exactly.
Because I said that was just a small taste of what we saw within 5 minutes of what happened. That's why I was like, if they ever did a movie about it, first off, they need to actually have actual historians help out with that particular story. And it would be dope too if they have the 3 survivors who are still here, why they're still here, to contribute to it, because they were there. They
absolutely,
albeit they were children, but they were there. So to get their account, while that's just something that just kind of plays in my head if they ever decide to go that route, even if it has to be independently made, because a lot of major studios won't touch that with it.
Exactly.
So, so if it ever comes to that, I hope that it gets properly made.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Definitely. I know, like I said, I don't really touch on news and even entertainment too much. I mostly do just my movies and TV shows, but I have had those times where it's like, if something is hitting me and I feel like, okay, I can't. I don't even remember, because we've had so many shootings, but I know that it was a shooting at like an elementary school. I did talk about that because it was bothering me the whole week. It just wouldn't leave my mind. And I was like, all right, I got to talk about this. And then it was one of those racist tweets. We've had so many. That one bothered me, and I talked about that. But my aunt, I was telling her about your channel the other day and the fact that you covered it. She's like, send it to me. And she's like, oh, well, your cousin. I'm like, I know, I told him. And then she's like, you really should talk about this on your channel, because you got a lot of family history, and of course that caused the whole conversation on more family history, something about some of my family being in a book with the plantation they was on. So I definitely got my own little research to do, but I'm very, very thankful to you for just shining a light on all of this. Appreciate all the hard work you do.
I appreciate it. And I will be there for trivia night this upcoming Saturday. All right. Appreciate you, Tamika, for coming on up. Definitely a wonderful person, as y'all can tell from her spirit and her aura as she was up here. Before I go any further, let me give a shout out to YGLTB1 for the $9.99 super chat. He says, when HR 4321 was present some weeks ago, I had thought of an immediate countercurrent to address it. From our standpoint, it's called FBA 1234. Count up and add up what this country owes FBAs B1. I like that. And yes, Spidey, to answer your question, yes, she is a New Yorker. Yes. And what's up, Gnome King? What's going on? Let's see. We got somebody else who wants to come on up. What's going on, Denise?
Hi, Torian. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Again, the Black Massacre series was very educational for me, but one in particular, the Jonestown one.
Okay.
I was, that was in 78. I was born in 64. So I was 14. I heard of it, but I didn't know all the details.
Right.
All I remember during that time, for a long time, and I think we were always told, don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And even to this day, I don't drink Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was this, I could not understand being that young. I could not comprehend how Jim Jones brainwashed all those people.
Right.
And the majority were Black. That's what I truly did not comprehend.
Yep.
It was like they was equating Jim Jones as white Jesus.
Yep, pretty much.
That's how I interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no. I just, But again, I don't want to take up much of your time.
No problem.
I get your alerts. So whenever you come online or post, I'm on it.
I know. I be seeing you in the chat all the time. So I know you get the alerts.
Yes. All right. You have a wonderful day.
You too. Shout out to Denise again. Somehow I knew Denise was going to come up here because she had made her presence known on my Freestyle Friday last week. And one of the things she immediately brought up was the Black Massacre series. So I knew she was going to make her presence be known today on the stream. but shout out to her. Yes, the Jonestown massacre wasn't even in my original lineup. It was something that got added in because, and luckily, the person who brought it to my attention asked at that time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to fit it in. And luckily, it happened after the war on drugs one. So, the war on drugs was early 70s. Jonestown was late 70s. So luckily they did, and I went in and added it in. And I think another reason I did is because when I was doing my White History Month on my original YouTube channel, Jim Jones was not in that month of June when I was doing it. And, I didn't learn too much about Jim Jones until way after. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, man, I'm kicking myself in the ass because I did not put him into that month just on the stuff that he did alone. But better late than never. So we found a spot to put what he did into this series. But again, if y'all would like to come on up and talk about the series like the other previous guests have done, I have the link right here. Y'all can come right on up and we can discuss. And we have our next person up in here. What's going on, Goddess Miriam?
What's going on, Brother Terrain? It is so wonderful to speak to you and to give you your flowers live. You are simply one of our best vanguards of the new Black media, brother. You certainly hold the fort in gatekeeping our culture and exposing white supremacy for what it is. All the race massacres that had happened throughout this country, and the atrocities that was done upon our people. So I am very grateful, and I've watched them all. And being a native in Illinois, East St. Louis, Illinois, to be exact, knowing about the East St. Louis race riots that happened in 1917, we just need to be more informed, because during there, every patch of soil we can walk on in different cities throughout this country, there is definitely a Black Holocaust that took place, a FBA Holocaust that has taken place in this country. So for you, brother, to do such a phenomenal job and compilations of all this information and presenting it to us where we can show our children and other family members and our grandchildren and legacy to come. It's just great and phenomenal. You are truly an exceptional brother, and I appreciate you. So hats off to you.
I appreciate you for watching, continuously, not just with this series, but also with my other videos, but definitely with this series again, because like I was telling other people, this was a heavy hitting topic that a lot of people didn't know about. I had to give the disclaimer early on when I began this series that it was going to trigger you pretty much every week. I don't think there was a week that went by, no matter what episode that I did, that was going to hit hard for people. Of course, granted, you were going to learn some things about locations that were that you weren't aware of, but it was still going to be a triggering moment regardless. Like, and the thing is, when I was looking up like to do like images or imagery for these videos, these were some graphic ones, especially when it came to Jonestown.
Yes.
Like I had said in my video, that was the only town or the massacre that I did where when you typed it in, it put the parental blur up on some of the images because they were so graphic. As a matter of fact, what a lot of people didn't know is that when I uploaded the first round of that video, it had got an age restriction on it because the image that I used was showing the helicopter view of all the bodies that were laid out there. It's like a very famous image of all the bodies laid out there after they drank the poison. And what I had to do was I had to take the video down and then go into the editor and put a blur on it and like do quick glimpses through like every 5 minutes of the video, that and with a blur would be away and you could glimpse at it for like 2 seconds. It's real quick. If you blink, you would miss it, just so it could bypass the age restriction and then re-upload it. And that took a while because that was a long video. And that one right there was the only one that had those kind of images blurred out like that because it was so graphic. But yeah, it was a lot, especially on that particular episode, for sure.
Indeed, brother. And they don't also get into details about what happened at Jamestown, the fact that you were dealing with a sexual deviant, as well as the fact that those people who, at somewhat, I won't say last moment, but realized what was going on and the reason why the dang on dog didn't drink the Kool-Aid. When they tried to fight back or run and escape, they were actually, you know, erasing people by gunpoint and other means. So they didn't just go into the afterlife willingly.
Yeah.
Some did try to escape, but thank you, brother, and I'll continue to watch. And
Okay.
again, hats off to you.
All right, no problem. Appreciate you for coming on up. Appreciate you for coming up. And Noam King, to answer your question, I actually just responded to you. I don't know if you see it, but I still have them. Just they right here. I still got them. I'm gonna be taking it out this week so I can wash my head though, and then getting them redone probably next week. But like I said, here's the link again. Like I said, I'm just posting it periodically so people can come on in and say what they have to say as it pertains to the series. And shout out to everybody who has come up so far and said what they had to say as it pertains to this series so far. I'm glad y'all, like I said, I really wanted to hear from y'all. That's the whole reason I'm really doing this stream, is because I really want to hear what y'all had to say about it. And it's interesting too how, you know, when you think of the Holocaust, you only think of, you know, well, you know, but like y'all say in the chat, there was a lot of Holocaust that happened with Black people. You can pretty much say that these massacres are a form of a Holocaust. That Devil's Punch Bowl one is definitely considered a Holocaust in my honest opinion, but they never called it that because they only relegated it to a particular group. We know what that group is. Jacody said, we love what you do, but I appreciate it. All right, let's see. We got our next person up here. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Tori?
I'm doing good.
Oh damn, I got on. Okay. I just want to say real quick, the series was excellent.
Thank you.
And us in the Black community, we have to keep doing these type of things so that we won't, like the Jews say, never again.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be the same way. And that series was an excellent way to do that. And we need to keep doing that. Definitely. That's all I really wanted to say.
Okay. Appreciate it.
All right.
Short and straight to the point. And he's right. We got to keep our stories alive. Like, we got to keep it moving. I said, as much as triggering as it can be, and it may be hard to hear, we got to keep this thing in motion because it can get lost. And once it gets lost, it'll get repackaged and reworked into something else that is not ours. Look, like I say, look what they're trying to do in Florida. Look at what they're trying to do in Florida right now. And what they're doing, I should say, rather, because shout out to Rob and myself yesterday doing that video talking about what they're doing with slavery and how they're putting that in the curriculum now, just a bunch of lies. And then people wonder why Ron DeSantis is falling in the polls. And shout out to Professor Black Truth for keeping up with that. Jacody said, I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana, and the spirit is still felt here. Yeah, and that was one of the places that I talked about in the series. Hooligan said a bunch of white lies. That and some change for sure. Noam King said Ron DeSantis is a mad dog running wild down there in Florida. I kept telling people, I said people thought that, you know, that Trump and Biden was something. Let that man get into office. It's going to be very interesting. Noam King said, I would come up, but I will be speaking ignorantly. I would only be able to generalize. Mystery Man said, hi, I'm new here. Well, welcome. If you are new here and you like the content, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button because there's more to come. And shout out to One Thou for becoming a member of the channel. Put some fire emojis in the chat for One Thou for becoming a member of the channel. I definitely appreciate it. Crystal said Lake Lanier just claimed someone else. People need to stay out that damn lake. There's stuff going on in there, whether you want to believe it or not, but people be going missing when they mess with Lake Lanier. I ain't messing with it, and I'm black. So I'm staying far away as possible as I can from Lake Lanier. Oh, Rob, I didn't even know you were still in the chat. I thought you had left. You must have just been like listening from the clouds, I guess. If anyone else would like to come on up, there is the link. I'm probably going to keep this going maybe until 4:30. It's just turned, it's 4:01 now, so I'm going to keep it going for another few minutes. Like I said, I didn't want it to be like a completely long stream if it didn't have to be. But there is the link. If anyone else would like to come on up and express their views about the series. No, King, first off, did you, no, King, I know I read your comment, but did you, was you watching the series? Oh, what's going on? What's up, Ricky? I'm waiting to see what your next video is going to be about. I know you've been posting some shorts and you've been pissing them off over there on TikTok. And I think you found another lane for yourself. And shout out to you for the come up. I know, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Enjoy that. And shout out to Iron Will for the $10 super chat. He's a great series, Brother Torian. I look forward to your content and your commentary. I appreciate it. Lana said it was an amazing series. Hold on, that's not what I was looking for. It was an amazing series. I shared each one. I appreciate it. That's the best part. The people who tell me that they shared the series, that is the best part right there for me, because that means that I'm putting something out there that's worth consuming from people outside of my subscriber base. That's the best part. Marion said exactly. Facts. That was an excellent counter slavery anti-FBA proactive program yesterday, brothers Tarian and Rob. Shout out. Well, I appreciate it. Shout out to you, Rob, again for being the co-pilot on that particular video yesterday. We ran the numbers up as usual. Can't wait to do it again. Oops. No King said I watch individual parts of the events I know about, like Tulsa, Mississippi, Rosewood, Florida, and Wilmington. And speaking of, I just pulled your comment up, and now you pulled up. We got Gnome King and his someone who used to be a frequent visitor at the end of every month, but then they got busy. What's going on?
Yeah, not much, man. Good to be back up here. I ain't.
Oh, something happened. Oh, it said device is not connected. You try to go out and come back in. I don't know what happened. Ricky said, I get a lot of inspiration from watching your series. Well, I appreciate that. Salute, Jay Barrett. Stay Positive said, have you or anyone visited a plantation? Asking because it was suggested by Tariq to do so. I actually did. I went to if that's why I wish I said on my original channel. I went to the plantation where Nat Turner was at, down in Southampton, Virginia, which is like 10 miles away from the North Carolina state line. And I was actually able to see where that rebellion actually happened. Was right down there. I went back in 2016. As a matter of fact, when I had hit 1,000 subscribers on that channel, that's what I did. I had made like a vlog, which is something I never do, and show myself going down to that particular plantation. So yes, to answer your question, yes, I have gone to one. And ironically, it was the one where one of our greatest warriors to ever live happened to reside. Ricky said, I've been to several plantations. It's a very disturbing feeling. I can imagine it probably has a very eerie feeling about it because you're going to a location where your ancestors were at in bondage for years. Lana said, I visited the plantation of my ancestors, life changing. You can feel the spirit. It definitely is something that comes over you when you get there, or whenever you decide to step foot onto one. Tamika said, I visited a plantation before. You can feel it in the air. Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling when you get there. Rob said the Black Massacre series is a must, especially with the USA attempting to rewrite history. Exactly. That was another reason why I was doing this series, because of them trying to rewrite history. And they're literally rewriting it right before our eyes. They're not even hiding it anymore. It's like, why should we have to? This is how we feel. We're going to go ahead and say how we feel. And that's why it's up to us to push back against their narrative. And it's so easy to do. I just gave you 30 weeks of material to do it with. All right, we're going to try this again. All right, all right, you good?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, bro. That was this computer acting up. I can't never access the webcam on here, not when I need it anyway. Okay. How you been, though, brother? I see you still been busy cranking out them videos, man. I'm proud of this.
Of course. Listen, nothing changed over here.
Yeah, man. It's a whole lot done changed for me, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
Starting this new job was unexpected, and I should have knew something was off about it because of the way I started. But I'm content with it for now, even though it take me away from home so much. Like, I don't be able to get on because a lot of your content get put up in a day. Like, it was different than how it used to be when I was working security doing third shift. You know what I'm saying? I'd sleep, then be up during the day until I had to go in at night. But during the daytime now, I'll be working. So, like, it'd be hard for me to catch your stuff.
Yeah. And basically how
I always show love when I can.
Right. And basically how I do it is I go off of when the majority of my audience is online or on YouTube the most. And I find that it's usually during the day around these times. So that's why I scaled back, because I used to do 3 videos a day, but that became overwhelming for me to do. I said, let me scale back and do 1 video a day so that people can catch up. Because that's another thing I will always hear is, oh, Torian, I'm trying to catch up with your videos. You're doing 3 videos a day. It's so much. So I was like really hearing in the back of my mind of what y'all was saying, and said, let me go ahead and just scale it back and do 1 video a day. And then it's easier for me, because if I wanted to do extracurricular editing, then it would be good, especially also too with this series, doing 3 videos a day and top of this series, that became a lot. So I said, let me go ahead and just do 1 a day. And I'm telling you, it has been such a relief for me personally to do that.
I could tell it had, because you was cranking them out, man. But I was happy, like when you did the Sundown series, and then I think before you actually named the Black Massacre series, like you kind of put out 1 or 2, I ain't gonna call them teaser videos, but like you gave examples of like what you was about to do. and then you just dropped it on like the Black Massacre series. Then you start knocking them out one by one, city to city. Like
Yeah.
I hadn't been watching them like the Sundown series and like your general videos. That's why I was like, I don't know if I should come up because I sound like I'm ignorant, like I ain't been watching them because I hadn't really been able to. But like that's why I said I'm gonna put it in the chat where people can see. Like,
Okay.
I know what he doing with it because he talking about pretty much like that's our Holocaust, and like ain't nobody else on YouTube really trying to do it like that. Like talk about each individual city where you can say black people did what Trump told us to do, like pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, like no outside funding, no funding from the government, no funding from Whitey and them. Like black people build shit on our own, then they come and tear it down, destroy it, bomb it. You remember fucking Tulsa, like they called in the National Guard to bomb that shit. Like I was like, wow, but ain't nobody else on YouTube doing that. So you got a, I ain't gonna say claim to fame, but you got a state that can't nobody else match right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first off, I definitely appreciate you for saying that, because again, like you said, this is like our Holocaust, and if we don't put it out there, no one else is going to do it. So it definitely has to be done. It has to be done by us, especially since it happened to our ancestors. So this is a personal thing. It's like very it hits you in a different way. And like I said, I had someone up earlier who had family members who had a family member who was murdered in the in Charleston from Dylan Roof. So that was a personal thing for this individual, for that person. And I didn't even know that until they told me. So it was like, wow, like that just kind of hit me like a bag of bricks. Like I have someone in my chat who I'm familiar with who had a family member that was literally affected by what someone did, unfortunately. And like I said, you never know who's watching. You never know exactly who is watching this particular content and what they're going to do with it and how they're going to run with it.
That's what I was about to say. Like most people don't know because we don't have a way to find out, because we not getting a whole lesson in history class like with them in the Holocaust, the Jews. Like you got a whole lesson. There's like 3 or 4 different lessons that cover just the Holocaust and nothing else. Like it's ragging on Hitler and the neo-Nazis, the Nazis, all that stuff the whole time. It ain't no excerpts in no American history books, about what happened to us here. And those different events in particular that you're covering in the Black Massacre series. And matter of fact, a prime example, you mentioned one earlier. You was talking about like the Devil's Punch Bowl in Natchez, Mississippi. I don't want to say her name, but I recently parted ways with a female I was like kind of messing around with. I met her out there in Fayetteville in North Carolina, but she's from Mississippi. Now, she's from that particular town, Natchez. And when I told her about the Devil's Punch Bowl, she didn't know what it was. She had never heard of it. She didn't know what it was. And I was like, I'm like, don't you know you got like a 25 to 30 square metric mile graveyard of just black corpses down there in your town? Take that long stretch of vegetation that you got along that highway, that it's a bunch of peach trees growing down there. Peaches and oranges and stuff, like big, gigantic fruit these trees bear, and nobody eats the fruit. I'm like, you ain't never wondered why you got that long stretch of land where it ain't nothing but them type of trees growing, but don't nobody own it and nobody trying to lay claim to it. It's just there. That people can go and just pick the fruit, sell it, whatever, but people don't. I say, why you think they don't do it? Why you think they don't mess with the fruit? Don't nobody eat the fruit? I was like, that's them trees the people know what's fertilizing that dirt that's growing them oranges and them peaches down there. That's why don't nobody eat the fruit. And then she went and Googled it, and she was like, "Wow, I never knew that." I said, your mama, your grandma, like ain't nobody tell you that nothing about that?" She said no. So
And
like,
you know, it's so
our
crazy because
people,
it's so crazy you say that, because like a lot of people, you'll be surprised, don't know that there's certain massacres that happen where they're from, because it's not taught past a certain point, or if it is, it's in pieces and it's not the whole thing. So like that, I can even say that with some of the videos that I do when I talk about certain like atrocities that happen like on a smaller level in various areas, and they'd be like, "Wow, I didn't even know this happened here until you said something. Like I didn't see this on the news, or it didn't come across my timeline, or anything like that." So I'm not even completely surprised by that, because in this series, I covered a lot of towns in various different cities, and I could probably pinpoint a good chunk of my subscribers in at least the state, if not the county or the city where it happened, in the state and where these massacres actually occurred, for a good chunk of my subscribers. And I know you said you were in North Carolina, right?
yeah, I'm 20 about 25 minutes from Wilmington. So the 1898 massacre there, yeah, like
Yeah.
I didn't know
So there
about
you go.
that until about 4 years ago. Learned about that about 4 years ago, but not once did I hear about it in school,
Exactly. And
in
you probably
one
won't.
history class on any grade level.
Yeah, and you probably won't. And that's the thing, you probably won't. Like, my schooling days as far as public school go date back to 1994 to 2007 as far as public school goes. I'm not talking about collegiate. And none of these that I talked about, with the exception of the ones that happened in 2015 and 2022, because that had not happened yet, but I had never heard of. Like, they were not in any book that I opened up. You didn't see really any publication about it at all. But like I said, when it came to certain other people's histories, they made sure you knew about that. So yeah, even down when they had Black History, even down to having Black History Month, it wasn't talked about then. It was the usual things that they were talking about when it came to Black History Month, but it wasn't about what I highlighted over these last few weeks.
Yeah, like I never would have knew about it, and the girl was shocked, and like I said, I look back, and the only ones I recall I knew about before you actually dropped the Black Massacre series was I knew about Rosewood, I knew about Tulsa, and Wilmington, of course, but like Rosewood and Tulsa, like you actually had movies, because you remember the movie with Ving Rhames and
yeah.
What's that chick name? She was I forget her name. You know who I'm talking about, the real fine shorty back in the day. Like I remember
Yeah,
Rosewood, that was a
I know
movie.
you're talking about.
And
yeah,
like it was a couple of them that they dropped movies about. Yeah, but the rest of them, you actually had to dig and find this stuff.
Exactly, for sure. And that's intentional. Those are the only ones that we were supposed to know about, quote unquote. But they really, yeah, they didn't. Even then, they didn't really go that far and that deep into it. But see, now, because we are in the age of information, it's out there now, so there really shouldn't be an excuse as to why you shouldn't know about it. Like, you really have to want to know about it, which is another thing that compelled me to do it. Because like I said, while I'm giving this information out to to my audience, I'm doing it also for myself too. So I'm literally killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah, like you setting the tone, bro. Like I said, you got a stake in the game that can't nobody else match right now. Can't nobody else say they dropping these kind of gems as far as our history, our individual history. But one thing I can say, like, people catching on, they might not be giving you your roses. They might not be saying it, but they catching on. And I'm talking about people that's got bigger platforms than you. You know what I'm saying? They like, when they talk about reparations now, they not just talking about ADOS. They bringing ADOS in there, and they saying lineage based reparations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to people that's not initiated, they not gonna think about it like that. But I'm like, they talking about lineage based reparations. So now people actually got to take blood tests and see how far back you go on their family tree before you find a slave. Like they've been watching my man channel. They've been watching TR channel. Like that's the first thing that come to mind. Like they've been watching my man channel. They talking about lineage based. Like no, you got to be able to prove by blood. You know what I'm saying? Somebody wore the shackles, wore the chains, and pick the cotton.
I can pull images up. I've actually pulled up images up of my my great grandmother on my mom's side. So my mother's mother's mother. I was able to retrieve an image of not only her, but also, if I'm not mistaken, either her parents or maybe a husband or a sibling. I forgot what it was, but you can look at that image by the quality of it and by the attire of it and in the background of it that this was back like in the 1800s. I can tell at her age she was a little bit older at the time, so she looked like she was definitely born a slave, but when she got older, slavery was already abolished. So my lineage is definitely there. And see, my mother, she's from South Carolina. My mother's from South Carolina. My dad is from Virginia. And as a matter of fact, my mother was adopted, and the people who adopted her is from South Carolina, and her birth mother is also from South Carolina. My dad is from Virginia. So I know my lineage roots are here. Just on that alone, because remember, Jamestown, Virginia was the first slave port in America. As far as when they started to bring them over here, it was in Virginia. So you know, it's there. So I can trace mine back. So when it's time to cut them checks, one of them is going to, or a couple of them going to have my name on it. So I already know I have nothing to worry about.
I actually got to do the research, man. Like I'm iffy about that. What's that one? They used to have the commercials on. I think Ancestry. I'm gonna try to find my lineage a different way. I don't trust that Ancestry shit. Like I'm gonna have to do something else because I honestly don't know nothing beyond my great grandparents. You know what I'm saying? And that's really with my mom's side. Like my dad, I don't know nothing on my dad's side past his mom and dad. So my grandma and grandfather. And I only seen my grandfather on my dad's side because my grandma Romelia, my dad's mom, like she died at a young age. Like she was like in her 40s, 50s. She died of breast cancer, but she died before I was born. So I never got to meet her. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So like I got to find a way to go back past them and see, you know, how far down the rabbit hole it actually goes. Cause I don't past great grandparents, I don't know nothing past that. So I'm gonna have to do one of them little tests like that eventually and see. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to get picked at like, cause I say black, I would put black on every application or whatever and assignment in school where they were doing like a survey. They're like, man, nigga, you ain't got, black people ain't got lips like yours. You got white people lips.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That long ass nose. Black people ain't got noses like that, man. We got broad ass flat noses. So you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't all the way black. You know what I'm saying? And then I got older. I remember I got into it with a lady. Now she was a Caucasian lady, but we was speaking like on a dating site. And she was like, You can't be all the way black. Da 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 da. You got to be mixed with something. And I guess she thought I was gonna take that as a compliment, but like I went off on her because it pissed me off. I'm like, why come every time white people run into somebody black that's not but ugly, like that, you know what I'm saying? We attractive, we got attractive features. Y'all always got to say we mix with something. Like, why black people can't just be beautiful? Why we got to fucking be mixed with something when y'all find us attractive? You know what I'm saying? Like that. I'm like, but it's good looking black people out there, and no, they not mixed with nothing. They 100% black. My mama black, my daddy black. That's why my birth certificate say black. Like, I'm not claiming nothing else. Yeah, my mama, her people, like, they got native in their blood. Cause you can look at my mama and tell, like, she got some Indian there somewhere. She got the high cheekbones, the pointy nose, the long black hair. You know, you can tell she not all the way there, but it don't matter. Cause all that matters is what's on paper. And her birth certificate say black. So that's what she is. Right. But I don't claim none of that native lineage, man. Like, I didn't know none of my mama people that was like 100% Indian. Like, I don't know them. All of them died before I was born. You know what I'm saying? We black.
Right.
We black.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, Noam, I actually have some more people I have to get to, you know, to keep this thing flowing. But I definitely appreciate you coming up because I know it's been a long time since you've been up here.
Yeah.
I know you've been busy, and I know you was like a frequent, like you was a person that people that looked forward to seeing come up whenever I would do the Freestyle Fridays. But I know your schedule got busy, so I was glad that you was able to come up here so people could hear from you and, you know, see your face and whatnot. And, you know, I know Spidey's somewhere in the chat because I know y'all used to tag team.
Yeah, that's my man.
Y'all used to tag team on my Freestyle Fridays. But, you know, I'm sure it'll be a time again in the future when that's going to happen.
Soon. And right. To all the people that did, like Torian just said, like, y'all used to look forward to hearing from me. I apologize to y'all, man. Like, this new career field, I'll say, just popped up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still pretty much stuck in it for the time being. So, I mean, I'm eventually gonna get back on it like I was. Y'all see me and Spidey tag teaming again up here with TR, and it'll be like old times eventually, someday soon. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up, man. It was always excellent, and it's an honor to be up here speaking with you, TR. Keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep driving this Black Massacre series because it's vital and very pertinent information for our people. We need it because obviously the school's not teaching it to us, right. And what's more importantly, the children. We got to know it so we can pass it down. And on that note, man, I'll see you, brother. Take care. It's been a pleasure.
All right, you too. Shout out to Noam King for coming up and making his presence be known. Like I said, it's been a long time since I was able to have that brother up on here. It's probably been a little over a year. But I'm glad that he was able to come up. And with that being said, we're going to move on to the next person. We got Amara. And shout out to you because I got the Cash App.
Hey, how's it going, Torian?
I'm doing good.
That's good to hear. First, I want to say for last week, if I offended you, I apologize.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, because I mean, because I don't see nothing wrong making a little extra money on YouTube, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I know you're doing this from your heart.
Exactly. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man, but a Torian Rain T-shirt, I think, would be cool. But I mean, if you don't want to do it, that's all good, bro.
No problem. I mean, it's something that like kind of played like in the back of my mind. It's something that people suggest that I do.
Yeah, I understand. But yeah, but I gotta tell you, man, bro, you've been on a roll. you the one, y'all. But I'm gonna talk about you right now. But you've been on a roll with the, like you said, like the last brother just said, the Black Massacre series, man. There's some of them. Some of those I didn't know. Some of them I didn't know because my parents were from the South. You know, because both my parents are from the South, and so some of them I already knew about.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had some real black teachers growing up, believe it or not, even in this state,
mm-hmm.
that would teach us teach us our real history because we're not getting it in the books and stuff.
Right. Exactly.
And yeah, it's just. But yeah, you putting me on some new stuff, and I love it. But yeah, Torian, we're moving forward though, man, because of people like you. And I gotta say, I am proud of you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And I showed some stuff to my mama one time. It's like, wow, who's this young kid? Like that's Torian Rain.
Well, I'm glad that you. I'm glad that you like you're sharing my content with your mother.
Oh, she's a black woman first. Oh yeah, she agrees with everything you said. But yeah, it just yeah. But yeah, it's just the other. Did you see that Just Pearly video about her saying? I don't know who this chick was, but apparently she said first she talked some smack about us, talk about why do black people care about their old history, blah blah. You know, that's a bull crap. And then Shitlock gave her props at that. That's what he does. He likes sucking up to white folks.
Yeah, I think I probably did a video talking about that.
But there's a new one. But apparently she says 16-year-olds are more attractive to 25-year-olds. I was like, what? So I don't need them. So I'm going to have to look into her. That's a pedophilia stuff. All right, yeah. She's and that's the other thing. People say that she's another Kevin Samuel. Samuel never said that. That is goodness gracious. Not a white person bite off a black person, but taking it to a creepy side.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah, like I said, so the cops need to investigate her ass, but you know they won't. Goodness. But anyway, but like I said, but I gotta go. I gotta go to my second job, Torian. So I'm gonna keep it short. But yeah, I just want to say I'm super proud of you, man. And I will get my channel up. My channel won't be as political as yours and stuff because I'm not into that politics stuff. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna do like live stream of shoes, and I'm gonna do my main channel is gonna be video game content because I play games.
Yeah, like I always tell people when it comes to whatever content that they put out there, just make sure it's something that they're passionate about. And like I said, it doesn't have to be like what I'm talking about, but like do something that you want to talk about, because it's like if you do something that you don't care about, then it's like people going to be able to feel that energy and like, are they serious about that? Like, are they or aren't they? Like, why are they doing this? Like with me, like with this, you can tell I'm passionate about doing this. So
yes,
I was doing this week before I was even monetized. So, and when I had lost a couple of the channels, I never switched up. When every time that I came back, I was still doing the same thing. As a matter of fact, I think I probably went even harder than the previous time. It made me go in even more.
Oh yeah, brother, you did. But yeah, that's my game plan. But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell people to go to your channel.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, because I think we all should look out for each other. You know.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, check out Torian Range's channel. Check out DeJuan's channel. Et cetera, et cetera. You get it, yeah. But I will promote your channel, especially because I have a lot of black subscribers. I already know, which I'm cool. Which I'm definitely cool with it. Because I'm gonna put them on game on our real history, not this BS that they're teaching us, this Walt Disney crap. You know. Version like Martin Luther King. They'll never tell the whole story, especially the part where he says, "I led my people to abyss." They will never say that part.
Right, or the part about getting the check. They definitely
getting the check. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, all those preparation old to us, man. Come on, it's not even a debate no more. They don't want to pay it. Oh yeah. Before I go, I gotta ask you one thing. Did you see this fool Ben Shapiro go off about this Barbie movie?
I did a video about him.
You did? Oh, damn. I'm back. I'm sorry. My bad, Tori. I've been working so much. But he literally, like, tore up a bunch of Barbie dolls. I'm thinking, damn, so he went into his own collection and tore them up.
Right. Yep. He burned them. He burned them. Like,
he burned them.
He burned them.
I was like, man. You know, I'm going to tell you this. He looks like a guy that collects Barbie dolls. I'm just saying. He's a clown. He is. And a racist, but yeah. But man, Tori, you keep doing your thing, man. See,
okay,
yeah, but got love for you, bro. Hope we will chat again one day.
Okay, I appreciate it. You have a good one.
All right.
All right. Shout out to Amara Woods for coming up, another frequent visitor on the channel and contributor. I definitely appreciate it. Let's see, we got another person in the back. Buzzer Cam, what's good? What's going on with you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Oh, good. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. I'm proud of you, but you appreciate what you're doing this massacre series. wanted to come up here for a brief moment is just and all that in this point of view or something like that. But hey, I did heard the episodes, watch, listen to them and stuff, and some of them I know about, and some honestly not surprised for how the story is about all these towns. There's pretty much black towns been destroyed out of them more than 30 of them. And I pretty so I'll be let the comment there because I'm not I've never been to some type of plantation before or if but I could probably feel the spirits of our ancestors around. I'm pretty sure I might have been around some quietly because it's plantation everywhere in this country. So that's that.
Oh, definitely. And
Yeah,
it's funny, and now that's
yeah.
funny you mentioned about like plantations being everywhere in this country because some people, the usual suspects specifically, would have you to believe that slavery was only occurring in one part of the country or one part of the establishment, which of course we know is far from the case. There were plantations everywhere, even in places that a lot of people would not expect them to be in because again it was more pushed down saying that slavery was just in the South, but there were plantations elsewhere, of course, when it came to chattel slavery. They just don't get any spotlight, but they were definitely everywhere. There were several of them outside of what we consider to be the South. That's why a lot of people thought that the North was this grandiose promised land and that the South was pure hell. But really, when you think about it, it was hell up north too. It was probably worse because they were able to mask it so well. But yeah, they were everywhere. It wasn't just in the South. But before we go any further, let me go ahead and acknowledge the super chat from YGLTB1. Thank you again. He said, did the JW benefit from the Holocaust? Did the indigenous people benefit from the Trail of Tears? Did the Japanese benefit from the internment camps? Did the Mexicans benefit from the Manifest Destiny? I'm guessing that's in response to the Florida School Board and what Ron the Snowflake approved down there. And no, well, let's see. Yeah, we know they want to rewrite history. That's like literally that's literally their mission right there, especially when it comes to us. And I'm speaking prematurely when I say this because I do have a video coming up about it. I don't know if any of y'all saw this, but also in the state of Florida, they PragerU, another organization, is now implementing something called PragerU Kids, where they're going to allow, and this actually got approved, and I think it's going to start in the fall, where they're going to have their own curriculum for the kids down there in the state of Florida. And it's starting in Florida, but when I was reading into it, it sounds to me like it's going to be happening in multiple states outside of Florida too, but Florida is like that testing ground. So Dennis Prager and all them people over there at PragerU are about to implement their own curriculum in these schools. And we know that's going to be filled with a bunch of damn lies. So you want to rewrite the curriculum of how slavery is and how it quote unquote benefited black people, but you want to also implement this too. So yeah, it's a lot going on there, but I'm gonna have a video that I'm gonna upload somewhere a little bit later talking about that, going at length. And I see Kid Gravity's in the chat. He said that he's on that tomorrow. He said he's gonna talk about that tomorrow. So make sure if y'all haven't done so already to go and subscribe to Kid Gravity's channel because he's going to be talking about that first. And then I'll give my take on it. We probably gonna touch on mainly the same thing, but definitely.
I think now you're missing that. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about you just explained to me. I'm like, oh, it's not familiar. I think stuff I mentioned now last or Friday on another podcast I was on. I put that in but not almost my name B Sealer that night on Friday. He mentioned that, so oh yeah, that's not familiar. So yeah, they're gonna fix up their own agenda. They have to be wiping out our history as much as possible. It's which is not going away. It's gonna be now look over the our history, anything else where we can find it at. Especially on the social media level and stuff like that, and
Right.
all that mess. So they try to own that. So Florida is a mess of itself, especially with out of that. We should say his name, but he's out there. But it's out of the thing like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure any state to go do the same. But I hope it's not. But we never know. That will happen.
Exactly. And Kid Gravity, it's funny you said Amala in the classroom. No thanks. It's funny you say that too, because I did my Blackaren video on that chick over a year ago, and I'm still getting comments from her stands to this day. I think somebody who was a fan of hers actually left a comment on that video a couple days ago, talking about, oh, she's this and she's so smart. I'm like, it is not one smart person over there at PragerU except for possibly Dennis Prager, and that's only because he's handling the money. That's it. But everybody over there, I keep telling people, if there is a black person or a black identified person over at PragerU, they are automatically a part of the Sambo sector of America. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Anybody who is black or black identified or black adjacent, however you want to put it over there at PragerU, is off code by default. I don't care if they work for PragerU or if they've done an interview, such as Jonathan Isaac, who I later found out is actually Puerto Rican, is off code. I did a video on Dennis Prager last year for the first time, and the next time will be about that PragerU kids thing, where he was basically saying some of the same things about like slavery and all types of stuff like that. It's amazing. They have all this stuff to say about when it comes to our history, but they want to implement stuff about their history that's not even true. Think about it. These individuals, well, first off, Buzzercam, do you have anything else that you want to add? Because I'm about to go on a little tirade right quick.
Oh yeah. Speaking of back to that massacre series, you speaking of all types of places of Blacktown and super places, especially the South. I my grandma's from the South too. She's 91 now. She's from Brookhaven, Mississippi. So it's pretty much I here and there places in those places down there. I only been there one time since 2008 from a funeral from her brother to stuff. That's the last time I went there and stuff like that. To experience that, but I pretty sure it's something is history around there. So I'm explaining that to you at that reason. And I was hoping you go touch into those places around the Gabon, Mississippi, but it's possible to look those up or whatever black magical place where black on it. So I'm tell you.
Okay. Was that it? I don't know if we lost them because it's like the audio just went out. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you for coming up. I definitely appreciate you for coming up. But I wanted to let him get that last part out because I was about to go on the tirade right quick, and I don't know how long I was going to be talking. But what I was saying was, if they will lie about their own history, they will lie about anybody's history. Now, keep this in mind. Our history, as far as the last 400 years, is linked to them in some capacity. If they will lie about our history, them lying about theirs, they're going to have to lie about theirs by default. And the crazy part about it is, in all four corners of the earth, of wherever they land, they have affected somebody's history, even their own. So I'm curious what is going to be in that curriculum. What are they going to be talking about in there? Something tells me Kid Gravity going to know about it before I do. But I'm curious as to what they're going to be discussing in this new PragerU kids indoctrination. And they'll love to tell you that it's not going to be an indoctrination tactic when it actually is. I'm like, this is PragerU. They have no business being anywhere near a school system. And by the way, speaking of school system, as far as PragerU goes, one thing that stood out to me when I was reading the article, and of course, you know, by the time I upload the video, y'all will hear it again. PragerU, by no standards or no means, is accredited with anything related to the school system. Yet, they just got approved to have a whole curriculum in Florida schools. Let that sink in. Like, really let what I just said sink in. They are not accredited to put anything in schools for PragerU. Yet, they approved them to have a whole school curriculum for the upcoming fall for kids in Florida schools, which means they have literally allowed them to legally have lies be placed in schools. Legally. Exactly, DQ. They have no accreditation. You can go and look it up. If you look up like anything what I'm saying right now, you'll find it. They have no accreditation. And accreditation is what is really a huge component of what is needed in schools, especially on a collegiate level. Like, you lose your accreditation, you can lose a lot of funding. So they're allowing them to do this. And Rhonda Snowflake wonders why his poll numbers are falling. Kid, like you said, what time are you doing the stream tomorrow? It depends on what time. If it's early, because I know you and Rob sometimes like to get on like real early. It depends on what time, because you know, with me going to the gym as early as I do, I need to get some rest after that in that strenuous workout. $4 p.m. Okay, I should be available around that time. Maximum said, in Florida, why don't they start off with the Black history of Florida, the bad and the part they don't want to talk about? Madison, I send them a few copies of Tariq. They won't watch that. They would probably quickly get a history book in there before they get one of them DVDs. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. And that's the thing, what you just said. They don't want to talk about the bad part because they contributed to the bad part. They want to put anything in there that only makes them look like the hero, which is exactly why Rob, aka Blacklight Revelations, always says that Black people need to embrace villainy. Why? Because if they are the heroes, would you really want to be attached to that? But I can't wait for August 23rd. And Kid Gravity and Rob, without saying in the chat, I don't want y'all to answer this. Who in the chat who is not Blacklight Revelations 2 and Kid Gravity Beyond can tell me what is going to be happening on August 23rd? I don't want them to answer because I know they'll know. Who can tell me in the chat what's happening August 23rd? Senior 34 got it right immediately. The GOP debate. I usually don't watch these debates, especially since it's coming on Fox News, but I will be entertaining it that night. I will be watching. And make sure, if you don't already, to be subscribed to Kid Gravity Beyond's channel, because he will be going live on his channel about the debate. And I think Rob is going to be over there as well. I might peek in and pop up over there as well, where they're going to be talking, where they're going to be highlighting the debate. And it's going to be like one big watch party. I cannot wait to watch that debate, to see what questions are asked and how they are answered. It's going to be some mudslinging going on that stage. I cannot wait. And not everybody's going to make it. Now y'all can just go and look through who's on the GOP side and see who's on that list. Of course, you have Donald Trump, you got the Snowflake, you got Ramen Noodles, you got Tim Scott, you're gonna have Nimrata, aka Nikki Haley, and a host of others that's gonna be on that stage. It's going to be very interesting. And like I said, I usually don't watch those debates, but I will entertain it that night because something just tells me I'm going to get more laughs than anything at the foolishness that they're going to say. But the ones that I really can't wait, to see is the Snowflake and Ramen Noodles, since they want to be like, oh, anti-woke this and anti-woke that. We'll see how much your anti-woke this and that gets you into these polls. Because based on the numbers, it ain't getting you very far. Last numbers I saw, the Snowflake and Ramen Noodles were pretty much neck and neck with each other, and it was a very low number. I'm just like, for me, I'm gonna be honest. The GOP debate is going to be pure entertainment for me. It really is. I'm being completely honest with y'all. I don't expect nothing serious to come out of this from any of them, especially since we have seen how they have acted up until this point. And like DQ said, this debate will be a train wreck, especially since all they have been bashing each other currently. Well, bashing each other, that's typical in politics. That's why they call it mudslinging. Like, that's typical. But the talking points is what I'm referring to, especially when it comes to Ramen Noodles and the Snowflake, because they only have one talking point: anti-woke this and anti-woke that. Like, what is that going to do for the establishment at large? Nothing. Kid Grady said Nikki Haley's finna get violated. But that's what I'm gonna be looking forward to. The time, Kid Gravity, the time is almost here. I know when we first talked about this, we was like, oh, it's gonna be so long to the 23rd. Listen, we only a couple days away from August. It'll be August on Tuesday. Then that means we only got 22 more days. So Wednesday, August 23rd, I will be locked in and watching. I might even pop Kid Gravity's. You know what? Just save me a spot. Just save me a spot. I might actually come up. I might actually entertain that. I might actually come up, just to be there, because I already know it's gonna be nonsense overload. What's going on, Mike Mellis, John, and B1 to you? Kid Grady said I'm decorating. Man. Listen, hold on, not that one. Jay Barrett, me and you on the same page. He said, I can't wait until Vivek gets his ass cooked. That's the one right there. Kid, I think I don't know if myself or Kid Gravity, which one of us has the more bigger disdain towards Vivek. I think it might be Kid Gravity, because he actually has said the words that he hates him. I haven't gotten to the point of me saying that. I don't think I've gotten to that point of saying that. But my disdain level for him is up there. It's very high. Maxima 347, which one is doing the live stream? Kid Gravity will be doing the live stream. It's going to be live stream on his channel. There you go. See what I just said? He said, I hate him. Bring him to me. If you look at any stream that Kid Gravity has done where he has talked about ramen noodles, you can hear the visceral in his voice. Now, Eddie. Now, they ain't going to be able to properly explain this, although that would be a good trip-up question. And watch them all give the wrong definition. And they're going to be up there like kicking each other's ass trying to describe or explain what woke is. That will be the funny part. He said, during the debate, I want them to explain what is woke. That actually would be a fun question to ask. I would be like, oh, I'm gonna be one like leaning in, like the good part of a movie getting ready to come up. You just kind of lean in off your chair a little bit. That would be me. I'll be sitting there cracking. Listen, I'm gonna probably be laughing the whole time. I'm just being honest with y'all. I'm just saying this is going to be pure entertainment for me, because I can't take either one of them seriously. Not one. Kid Gravity said, I got a nice video coming for him. He got exposed for his ethnicity. He got exposed for quite a bit, but they keep riding his coattails, though. He said, Tim Scott not coming to your city next. Why is he coming to your city? What's going on in Pursuit? He said, had Bethany Mandel asked the question via Zoom. Yeah, now that right there has got to be one of the top most embarrassing moments of 2023 so far. And even she knew that she was about to get her ass handed to her. She said, oh, this is about to go viral. Yes, it is. The thing is, you wrote a whole book and a chapter about quote unquote woke, and all you had to do was say was what was in your book, even if it was a lie, which I'm almost certain it was. And you couldn't even do that. That's why a lot of people was going to question, did you even write the damn book? Maxima 347 said, I really want to see ramen pastrami get cooked. Like I said, you and everybody else, myself, Blacklight, Revelations, Kid Gravity, everybody, that man is going to get destroyed. And yes, Rob, the world will indeed be very correct that day. As a matter of fact, that might be one of the most correct days of the world ever, is on August 23rd. And that's another part, malefactor. Vivek has only voted once. And that was in the 2020 election. But we're supposed to believe he's so patriotic. One of the most patriotic things you can do as a quote unquote American citizen is vote. And is actually one of the easier things to do too. But the first time you ever vote in your life is when you're 34, the same age that I am now. Okay. That's going to be very interesting, to say the least. But I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that day. I'm pumped up now. My spirits are a little bit lifted. I can't wait for that day. And shout out to Keith Evans for becoming a member of the channel. So throw some fire emojis in the chat for Keith for becoming a member of the channel. I definitely appreciate it. And Bonafide Hustler says, congrats on finishing another series. I can't wait for the new one. I appreciate it. Again, shout out to YGLTB1. I'm convinced this is a good week for you, because you've been dropping. Most of the donos came from you today, and I definitely appreciate it. He says, Dub S creates pseudo history to justify their actions and inactions toward FBAs. We have our own history from our vantage point. Never allow your enemy to narrate our story, because the hunted will always be the problem. B1. Exactly. I appreciate it. And definitely this is one big history lesson. What I did with this series was intended to be a history lesson, not only for myself, but also for my subscribers and anyone who contributes to the growth and expansion of this channel on this platform. That's really what it's all boiled down to at the end of the day. But yeah, this actually, like I said, I wanted to end the stream like 30 minutes ago, but I decided to run. I said, let me just run it for a whole 2 hours. But with that being said, I'm about to bring this live stream to a close, which means after this thing goes off, the Black Massacre series will just be etched in history as something I was able to contribute as much as I possibly could to my subscribers and anyone else who's watching from the clouds, who, it is what it is. But I would definitely like to thank all the people that came up and spoke, gave their perspective about the series. I definitely appreciate it. Shout out to everybody who contributed financially. It was 8 people. Let me run y'all down. Denise, Chris, YGLTB1 for contributing to today's stream. And also shout out to One Thou and Keith Evans for becoming a member of the channel. I definitely appreciate that as well. Again, if y'all want to recap the Black Massacre series, I have a whole playlist dedicated to it in chronological order. Y'all can go back and watch them. And, you know, share the playlist out with your family. Play it in a marathon style. You know, whatever the case may be. It's a good thing to listen to during traveling. DQ said, how do you become a member? Just if you're on your computer, because you can't do it on your phone. If you're on a computer, you can just look at on the video like I'm at right now, and there should be a join button that's next to the subscribe button. Just click join. He said, sorry it took so long. No problem. I mean, like it's not like it was a deadline for this, but thank you anyway for becoming a member. I definitely appreciate that. But again, this is the closing of another chapter. And again, if I do another series, I will most likely announce it at the end of the year on the end of the year recap stream that I do every year. I think that would be the best time to actually do it. But with that being said, the Black Massacre series is now officially completed. Be safe, be one.